Coach, turning the roster over a lot, obviously, for this year. Does that make individual players that are coming in summer prep even a little bit more important before everybody convenes back?
Yeah, Kevin, I think that it really does. I think the summer preparation is key. I think that the young men that are coming into the program understand that. I think we as coaches understand that. And the great thing about it is Coach Huggins has done very, very well for a lot of years in getting guys to in a personnel-based system where he understands their strengths and weaknesses, and being around in the summer. And now with the NCAA giving us the ability to work with the guys on the floor, that becomes huge because it gives Coach an opportunity to kind of get a real good feel for what guys' strengths and weaknesses are.
Before they reconvene with you all, do you send them some things you want them to work on in terms of skill development? I mean, I know obviously strength and conditioning is one of the big things, but as far as basketball drills?
Well, I think during the recruiting process we communicate that, and they ask us, to a point where I think it's very clear to them what their priorities are in terms of getting their skills or their game, so to speak, to a level to where we want it, and what they should work on, what they probably shouldn't work on as much. And I think they're pretty well aware of that, and I think that most of the kids, especially in this particular year, the ones that are coming in have a real good idea of what they want to do, and I think they'll be really serious about it.
I know one of all the coaching staff's goal is to get more pressure back on this defense. What is the toughest thing that newcomers have to learn to be able to put pressure on the ball effectively?
Well, I think obviously the pressure of the ball part is not difficult for anyone one time. I think the consistency every time, every play, every time you see the ball go in the basket, to start moving up instead of running back. I think that's a big change in your whole attitude mentally, and I think that those are the things that guys have to really understand and work on, and they'll understand that right away, even when we get into our pickup games. And I think the other part is the speed of the game. The guys that they are going to be trying to pressure are a whole lot faster, and they have to be more intelligent. They have to use angles, understand, basically defensively how to play and how to cut the court in half. And we feel pretty confident that we do a good enough job teaching that to where our guys will adjust pretty quickly.
I know he's been gone a couple of years now, but he's got to be a guy that's still held up as Devon Carter and the way he played. It seemed like one of the things that he did well was getting his hands into his opponent's frame, disrupting where the ball was moving. Even if he didn't tap the ball away, it was disrupting what they were doing. Is that something that you can teach that people learn, or is that just something that he had, that one of the things that made him great?
I think that's one of the things he just had that made him great. I think if he wasn't a great basketball player, he could have been a great prize fighter because he had such fast hands and he could get him on the ball so quickly. But I also think you can teach that to the degree where you can be disruptive, and we want to be disruptive. Nate Adrian, for example, was a guy who was tremendously disruptive in our press, maybe one of the best we've ever had in the front of that press, and that was something I think he learned over time and became very, very good at. So, yeah, I think we can teach that, we can learn that, we can get better at it, and it's just from a coaching perspective, we're anxious to do that. We're really looking forward to it. We've got all of our guys coming back. We've got 4 great new recruits, in McBride, McNeil, Sherman, and Shoeblay coming in, and we think that that's going to give us really a lot of added quality depth at all of our positions, so we're really excited.
And finally, in rebuilding that press, you mentioned Nate Adrian. Obviously, the guards were really important in that, but having that guy that you can also put up on the ball, or that guy that's really adept at coming on the double teams, you had him, you had Jonathan Houghton. Importance of finding a guy like that can fill that role this year?
No question, Kevin. It's all about motor, and I think when you have guys with a serious motor that can go and go and go and be the Energizer Rabbit out there, we've got Shoeblay coming in this year, and we think he's a lot like that. Obviously, we think that all of the guards that we have coming in have the ability to do that on a consistent basis. So, again, we're really looking forward to it because we know we have a kind of a different mindset. We have a different motor as a team, and I think our guys have the ability to play harder for longer periods of time than anybody else, and that's something that we're always going to strive to be able to do, is to play with more intensity for a longer period of time than our opponent.